Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network.
I think it's important that together as a committee that we begin Chairman Comer's therapy session, right? A member of the other side wanted to confirm what the title of the hearing was, right? That Chinese propaganda. Well, we know the title of the hearing certainly isn't about impeachment anymore. And Chairman Comer has suffered tremendous loss. And we all know in our life what it's like to suffer tremendous loss. There's all sorts of different stages of grief, and that's the loss, obviously, of his impeachment hearing. And everyone deals with that different ways, and sometimes it takes time to grieve and struggle and fill that hole, that void that now exists now that he no longer has impeachment. But the only way we as a committee are going to help Chairman Comer get better is we have to get to the root cause, right? So for today's therapy session, okay, I want to talk about denial.
So, Carl, we just played, I don't know if you saw this unbelievable Comer and Raskin yesterday, but it is just a complete clown show. And Jared Moskowitz is hilarious, just talking about how, he's grieving the loss of his impeachment. At the same time, the Mayorkas impeachment fails in the Senate because it's just, as Chuck Schumer said, it's a policy dispute. It's not constitutional. You can't impeach someone because first of all, you didn't give them the tools to give them the job that you now say he's not doing right.
Right. Well, and then also, if it was a legit way of going about impeachment, if that's even a thing you can do to a cabinet secretary, what's to keep Democrats in the next Republican administration from impeaching their HHS secretary for not providing health care for every American, to impeach their, commerce or treasury secretary for selling out to big banks and pharmaceutical companies? I mean, where does it end, right? It is a policy dispute, and you don't remove somebody based on policy disputes. I say that knowing that right-wingers in my community are trying to remove me right now because they don't agree with me.
Yeah.
And so, we have a method for removing people we don't agree with on policy.
Yeah.
It's called elections.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If they don't want Mayorkas, if they don't want somebody else, then they should elect Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The country's not going to do that.
Carl, you make a great point. First of all, that's why I'm wearing my No Adjustment Necessary shirt, because on Thursday, is everyone gay? Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
You and Dana.
I'm not.
Whatever. I'm going to keep doing the story about how lesbians have more orgasms than straight women, and we'll bring you over. Come on over into the lady lake.
No,
okay.
Lonnie's very good at that.
I bet. Well, because he's prettier than most women.
He
so.
is. There is.
All right. Carl. But you raise a good point. It's not just Trump and January 6th. They have become the party of trying to overturn election results, including yours, everywhere they don't like the results, or otherwise take away someone's power, right?
Well, and it's not even results. They don't like democracy.
Right.
Period. Full stop. End of story. Right? We know that the whole, they announced that they were going to try and impeach Biden before Biden had even been sworn in. They tried to stop him from being duly certified.
Right.
The people that are trying to recall me announced they were going to recall me before I'd even been reelected.
Right.
And you're one of those people.
This is not about even the election results. They don't like elections.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just you. Names are escaping me, but other people that have won by 11 billion points like you did. It doesn't even matter the margin. They're disputing the result. You're right. They just don't believe in democracy.
They're doing it to Gavin Newsom again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Do you know how much that cost us, the
So much
taxpayers?
money.
And he won by more than he won the
Oh, there you
original
go
election.
again, thinking that they actually care about taxpayers.
Yeah.
I saw some op-ed, Carl, in the I think it was USA Today, about how Newsom's liberal policies have destroyed California, and I'm like, really? Is this what they're trying to peddle on Fox News? Because we're the 5th largest economy in the world. As we say all the time, Carl, we have these laboratories in the States. And places they have Republican policies tend to get decimated, and get places like California are booming. I mean, we all have problems. Like every state has some problems,
Sure.
but yeah.
But many red states have fundamental economic problems where they're a single economy kind of a state.
Right.
There's no dynamism to it.
Right.
California and other blue states are dynamic. They have multiple industries that support their economy.
Right.
And so that is why, in the words that right wingers will understand, blue states are the givers and red states are the takers.
But look at crime. It's always the top 10 states are red states. Just all this crap they're peddling on Fox and elsewhere. Asen tweeted, that he was quoting Representative Garcia, who, as Chris points out, is a homo.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
That was Gomer Pyle, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
He finally married his love.
Yes. Jody's godfather. Okay. Garcia said, is it true that under Donald Trump, murder rates surged by 30% to the highest rate since the 90s? I mean, God bless our freshman class. They are really, Maxwell Frost, all these guys are out there really just like bam, bam, bam with these talking points. Murder rates are way down under Biden. All the fear mongering they're trying to do this time. Do you think it'll work?
Well, it'll work with some people, but you got to remember, the right-wing attacks on the media are because of a quote-unquote so-called liberal bias. They believe the same thing about letters, numbers, the periodic table, shape, colors. They all have a liberal bias when you're a Republican.
So before you know it, E will not equal MC squared.
No, not at all.
But something else, MC hammer. Well, yeah, I love this. This is from Joe Scarborough. I thought made a good point. He said, I'm just getting tired of saying this to people who claim to be patriotic but hate America. America's stronger than ever before. The economy is stronger than ever. But they'd never know because they're fed a steady stream of hate America first rhetoric. That's really what it is. It's hate America. It's not America first. It's talk America down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's find somebody to blame for your station, right? And so what does Trump do, right? What Trump's message is that the others are getting what they don't deserve, right?
Yeah.
The others are getting what they don't deserve, and consequently, you're not getting it.
Yeah. You don't have a job because of that brown guy, and your marriage sucks because of that homo.
Right.
Basically.
And as a consequence, and that is because we played by the rules. Because we allowed people to vote, because we allowed votes to be counted, because we allowed democracy to function, you are not getting what you deserve, and the others are getting it instead of you. And therefore, the bedrocks of our society are capable of being taken away because people have been told that it is those very bedrocks that have corrupted the system.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Chris, what do I say about polls?
Polls are BS unless you find one that you like.
That's correct. Carl, have you seen this poll? What did Jody and I keep saying? Rovember is coming, man. Rovember is coming. Row rage is real. Republicans against Trump tweeted this and just said, women hate Donald Trump. Latest poll, Joe Biden, 53%, Donald Trump, 37%. I've been saying it forever, and it seems like any man that's ever met a woman knows that we never, ever forget.
Right.
I don't know why they just think, they're going to be over that. Chicks, they'll be over that by November. But there was just another election in Michigan, I think, another special election. I mean, the real results, Carl, as you always say, are just being proven out in state after state, aren't they?
And by more than we're expecting, right? It's not just that we flipped a lot of unusual special elections, but even in the races where it's not competitive and Democrats are just going to win anyways, or where Democrats have no business winning, they're overperforming where they should be. And that's in case after case after case. And as we saw in 22, that was a good predictor that what the polls were showing, what the prognosticators were saying on cable TV was not going to be borne out, and that Democrats were going to do far better than anyone expected. And that's why we're sitting on a one-seat Republican majority right now in the House and have a Democratic Senate.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Speaker Johnson is soon to be not Speaker Johnson, but we shall see if we have a Speaker Jeffries before.
We'll see how many Democrats decide they want to save his job, which in turn will cost him his job. It's all, it's nuts.
Yeah.
This is one tweet of the day for me. Steve Silberman tweeted, of one thing I'm certain, if there are generations of human beings in the future, they'll wonder how any of us managed to survive this daily onslaught of gaslighting, bull, and criminality. I mean, at some point, I think we just crave normal again, some version of normal, right?
I think the American people would love not having to think about this at all.
Yeah.
And, that is a luxury that we're not afforded any longer. And so, I think Biden has a compelling message to take to the voters, not only on his policy accomplishments, but on providing them with a more rational,
Yeah.
public consciousness that we have as a result of him being in office. There was a time, and we talked about this when Trump was in office, that there was just never a break.
Right.
Never
Yeah.
a break. And it's
Exhausting.
short. Is it bad now? Yes, but it was far worse when Trump was
Yep.
Yeah.
president. Every day, every weekend, every holiday, he did something to get in front
As if
of us.
COVID could have
and
gotten
was-
worse, right? As if us living through COVID could be worse. We had to watch that stupid TV show every day with his stupid suggestions every day. Oh my God! And
You
you're
might
trapped
be
in
out
your house.
you might be out having lunch with friends or at brunch or taking your kids to a game or whatever, and your phone would vibrate on the dash of your car.
You'd be like,
And
"What
your
the-
phone
did-
would vibrate on the bedside
Yeah.
table.
What did that
And-
orange a-hole do now?
It took the first year of the Biden administration to, get rid of the PTSD.
Yeah.
The sound of a vibrating cell phone.
And he
could
still
make.
won't get out of our face because
He
of his
won't.
relentless criminality. Yeah. Okay. Here's the Biden just did an interview. The interviewer said Trump directly blames you as being responsible behind these prosecutions. How do you respond to that? He said his lack of ethics has nothing to do with me. Again, polling shows, Carl, that most people live on Earth 1 and know that Joe Biden is not behind 91 felonies he did before he was president. He's not behind state prosecutions, civil cases, on and on and on, right?
And you're seeing like in slow motion this car wreck of how Trump does this, right? Like now he's trying to taint the jury pool and to convince his followers that every juror is a Democratic operative. And so like this is how it happens, right?
Yeah.
This is how he uses the I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it to his advantage.
Yeah. Well, one last one, inflation, which is what, he was asked about that. He said, well, we're working to get those prices down by making sure corporate profits are brought under control. That seems to me an issue we need to talk about and we need to put out there with
Yes,
people.
I mean-
This is greedflation. These are companies that are still gouging, even, as though COVID is whatever
And
you
how
want
do
to say.
we know it? Because on the company's earning calls, so here's some behind the curtain information for people. Publicly traded companies have earnings calls with their investors.
Right.
And these things are recorded.
Yep.
People can listen to them, et cetera. And on these earnings calls for food manufacturers and all the types of people that you're seeing these increased costs for in the grocery store and elsewhere, oil companies, et cetera, the company executives talk about how inflation is good for them.
Yeah.
And they're not just passing on increased costs to consumers.
Yeah.
They are benefiting from the expectation that inflation will lead to higher
Yeah.
costs by raising their prices to
Right.
make more money.
First of
These
all-
companies are making record profits.
Thank you. And we got to keep, just hammering that home, Carl, is they want Republicans in office because they don't want to pay their fair share of taxes. Right. They want to make Biden look bad because they know they can blame him and inflation by, keeping their prices, unnaturally inflated. So, that's a great point. We got to just make sure we keep hammering that.
And you don't have to trust us. Go Google. Go
Yeah.
find these earnings calls on the internet. You can
Yeah.
listen to them.
Yep, absolutely. Carl, I agree with every word of your love letter. And times 11 billion. Mooksforcarl.com.
Encouraging everybody, go out and get your Sexy Liberal tickets. I'm looking forward to seeing people at the shows.
Oh, I'm looking forward to you cradling me on stage at Sexy Liberal DC for Joe Biden's inauguration in January.
Well, it's just going to be because of the weather, because we're going to
Yeah.
be celebrating.
Yes, and I'll be cold. Hold me.
Yes.
Okay, love you, Carl Frisch.